Number one today is Friday, October 17, 2025. Update for Monday, the 20th. All right, let's go. Well, as far as new setups, let's stick with these two for now. I really do like these rare earths at the moment. They continue to correct today, so of course, and as usual, make sure you wait for an entry on that. Kato's stopping out so long, and thanks for all the fish. Pretty good run. It always kind of sucks in the end. You know the routine when you give up those open profits. But the bottom line is you need to look at what's in your account now and what was in your account before. And those numbers are fairly significant. Thank goodness. Obviously, not a fantastic day in the portfolio other than ATAI doing okay and NUAI. We'll get to that in just 1 second. Official setups, USAR once again, and OR. One thing I'm noticing tonight and in general lately is we're seeing more and more and more of these super volatile stocks setting up. Now, there's an old Wall Street adage, when pigs fly. So I don't know if these are pigs, but it seems like there's certainly an interest in all these speculative, super speculative issues, I should say. Everything we do is speculative, obviously. But it is kind of interesting that a lot of these really, really wild and crazy stocks are beginning to show up as setup. So just consider that, and we'll decide on whether or not we're going to go after more and more of these, obviously, in the upcoming days and weeks. For now, let's just stick with those two. Those are plenty volatile enough. Let's take a look at the portfolio, and then we'll pop out, obviously, the overall market. ABCL coming in a little for the most part, just consolidating and hanging in there, not too far from those brand new highs, so we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Make sure, of course, as usual, you honor your stop. I know I preach a lot. ATAI, not a bad day there. Outside day up, making these new multi-year highs. That's always a good thing. I especially like these stocks. I really like these stocks when they make these huge low-level bases, just die out forever, and then begin to take off. I think Dick Fruth calls that a tombstone type of stock. Anyway, I call it Phoenix strategy because you have this big old fat base at low levels, and usually the stock has a long ways to go from there. Cypher looking kind of interesting in here. Opening gap reversal at the end in Flatsville. Thank goodness on that one. That one still looks like it has lots and lots of potential. A lot of these crypto stocks came back by the end of the day. Gold got whacked today, as did the gold stocks, as you would imagine. KGC getting whacked a little. But this doesn't even look like a big enough TKO that I would even trade. So far it's just pull it back. But obviously honor your stops just in case. Kato's continue to slide it here. It looks okay as a pullback. I prefer pullbacks that don't have gaps in them, but it would be kind of interesting to see if it fills this gap and it goes on to make new highs. But obviously you have to get out of the way when the time comes, just in case. And obviously you have to ride out some open profit drawdowns, and we've done that quite a few times along the way. And then obviously there's one time where it's the last time. That was the last time. But hey, it's been a pretty damn good run nonetheless. Any triple digit gain I do not complain about, and if you are complaining about it, just send me the money, and that way you don't have to worry about it anymore. In 30 years of doing this, nobody's ever sent me any money. Anyway, KYTX coming in a little. Sometimes you get a little ahead of themselves, as you know, but as long as it hangs in there, so far so good. NUAI, easy for me to say, bam, winning, breaking out to new highs with a little bit of vigor. This is none of those cases of those big low-level bases where the stock just kind of gave up. Everyone gave up on the stock, I should say, but nice little new highs with a bit of vigor. Look at this HV 283. That's probably the highest HV stock I've ever owned, except for that was a micronuclear one a while back. It escapes me at the moment. NNN or something like that. Anyway, TFPM coming in a little bit with the rest of the goals. And again, this is not really, I wouldn't even call that a trend knockout just yet. Yeah, it fits the pattern, but not deep enough, not wide enough range bar. Anyway, out of your stops just in case on all that. Good to see those super speculative issues help us out a little bit today while some of these bigger cap gold stocks got whacked a bit. Let's take a look at the overall market. P's bounced a little bit inside day, but kind of hanging in there in this sideways consolidation. As long as it does that, I'm not going to get too excited. Also, the 30 EMA, which I don't have plotted, obviously, continues to hold. Nasdaq Composite, same sort of action happening there too. Not too bad of a looking chart, or not too bad of a day. And it's not that far from all-time high. So let's continue to give it the benefit of the doubt. The Rusty 2000 kind of back to its old self again. And it's stuck in the middle of this little range. You know me, I like to see it break out and not look back, but it looks okay longer term for now. Gold and commodity getting whacked after trying to rally. Still looks pretty good longer term. It could actually correct quite a bit and still look pretty darn good. Gold miners obviously getting whacked too, but this is just the beginning of what looks like could be a knockout type of move. Metals and mining overall correcting a little bit. Lithium and some of the rare earths got hit a little today. Of course, that's why we wait for entries. Let's take a look at palladium, platinum, and a few of these other areas got hit hard. Retail's looking a little questionable. You can see it's kind of recently rolled over a little bit. Kind of looking toppy in here. So all that great in the world. And broker-dealer down toward the bottom of its range. Still looks okay. Much longer term, but if it breaks below this base, I would get concerned there. Financials, as I've been saying, looking a little questionable. A little bounce today. I'd like to see them hold these levels and beyond. Banks have been weak, obviously, as of late, too. A little bit of a bounce there, too, within the financials. Biotech doing pretty good right here at all-time high, so I'm certainly not going to argue with that. Defense still looks pretty good, too, so far just pulling back. Obviously, it pulls all the way back to this base. That would be of concern. But for the most part, things still look pretty good out there. But like I said in the market a minute today, and I think recently, the easy part may be done for now. So we have our work cut out for us. We have to be super selective and obviously wait for entries and honor our stops. I know, same as it ever was. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or hit me up on Facebook. I'll be checking in throughout the weekend, trying to avoid honeydews. Again, everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk again on Monday, if not sooner.